You see that shit, Warner Brothers? You see what fucking happens when you just leave a filmmaker alone and just let him do his fucking thing? You keep your grubby little goddamn paws off of the film reel and ruin it. But Netflix took a page from everyone clamoring for Snyder's vision to just remain intact, and it paid off tremendously. Warner Brothers, you better get on some good fucking graces with this guy. Because, yeah, all these studios are about to snatch him up. And you will never, ever, ever see a dime from him again.
He's definitely got more work lined up for him.
Yeah. I mean, before we kind of get into anything, I rewatched Dawn of the Dead to kind of prepare myself for this experience. And I love Dawn of the Dead. Always have. Personally, I've always preferred the classic George Romero films when it comes to just zombies. But I love Dawn of the Dead. I think the action's awesome. All the characters are badass, and it was a neat little rewatch jumping into this movie.
Like, it's a great movie, like, on its own, but going into this, I was expecting it to be like a sequel.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping there would be something tongue-in-cheek that maybe connected it, but I knew in the back of my mind there was absolutely, like, no way it could ever be a sequel. Simply because of the fact that in Dawn of the Dead, the dog is able to freely wander through the swarm of zombies, and obviously that just could not happen here.
No.
Absolutely no way. I thought this movie was pretty fucking dope. I was very, very, very entertained with this movie.
I was. I'd say it's definitely worth the admission.
Oh, so. Yeah. We got to see this in theaters before it's dropped on Netflix, and
right.
Man, if this movie made a decent amount of money at the box office, how much of a slap in the face would that be to WB?
Pretty big one.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it does well here. I know Netflix just kind of screen it in theaters just mostly for novelty, but I'm hoping it makes a decent chunk and change, because it was a very, very great movie, I thought. We start off just with this wonderful fucking action sequence that just kind of nails the tone of the movie perfectly through a montage. And just right off the bat, as soon as I recognized Richard Cheese's voice, I knew I was in good hands for a good time. That small section just tells so much, I think it perfectly encapsulates how small this threat started and just kind of how easily it just
got out of control. Just
fucking calamity to 11. Just the worst kind of snowball effect. And it's all filmed very tastefully, I thought.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good way to open the movie, I think, so.
Yeah. Right off the bat, I thought the soundtrack as an entirety, spot on. Absolutely spot on. Every song that was used in every scene just amplified everything. I don't know if Junkie XL is going by Junkie XL anymore. I've seen it Tom something. I'm not sure exactly what his name is. Currently for me, I'm still gonna refer to him as Junkie XL, unless he comes out and says, "Hey, I fucking hate that name," and anyone who says that I am Junkie XL, which, if that's true, I'm sorry. After the opening montage, we cut to a character named Scott, portrayed by Dave Bautista. We get the feeling that he's really, really struggling to get by, with everything he's had to deal with thus far, all the people he has saved, everyone that he has seen die. And he's at a point where, he has fallen almost from grace. He's working at a burger shack, flipping burgers for a quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's his job now.
Right, yeah. But eventually he's approached by a hotel or a casino owner who tasks him with assembling a crew to break in and, steal, obviously, his assets. And it's a simple in and out. There's a helicopter on the roof. Go.
So
basically the movie now kind of transitions to very quick introducing every character for the crew.
Right. So when the beginning character, Scott, he's of course the main character played by Dave Bautista. He's recruiting all these characters for his team up. So we learn about his daughter, Kate. She kind of holds like a lot of animosity towards her father, and they just have a strained relationship. But I think it's kind of told well. It's developed well. So.
Yeah, I think that definitely adds a lot to the film, especially just with the narrative. It does provide a bit of emotion that's very needed, I feel.
Yeah, both sad and kind of funny. So.
Oh yeah. And speaking of funny, I thought this movie was actually very, very funny.
Right.
And it was definitely a lot more comedic than I was expecting it to be, but I thought most, if not all, of the humor landed exceptionally well.
Yeah, which that kind of gets into one of the characters, Ludwig. He's kind of the comic relief for the most part. I mean, he's a little bit of a little scaredy cat.
Yeah.
But
yeah. There's one scene that he's in that I won't spoil it here, but mad respect.
Yeah, I know.
Just mad respect.
Right. And he has a pretty good relationship with another character, Vanderho. Sorry. He's kind of cold, a little cold-hearted a bit. But
yeah, he's definitely, resentful towards just life now.
Life, and especially most of the people he has to be with. But
super badass though.
Right,
Super uber badass. But he has a very good dynamic with that comic relief character, Ludwig. That's definitely one of my favorite just character duos of the film.
Probably, definitely the best chemistry in the film.
Oh yeah. I also was very surprised with Vandero. He actually has quite a bit of poignant thought to him. That was just something that really stood out to me and made him memorable for me, at least. I'm sorry I cut you off, buddy.
No, that's fine.
Just wanted to get that out there.
I get it. But, yeah, definitely a cool character. And then, speaking of not so great chemistry, is a chick named Cruz, who's basically the love interest for the main character, Scott. And she's pretty forgettable.
Unfortunately, yeah, I agree. It's not that I thought she was a terrible character or nearly anything like that. It's just, she was definitely the weakest member of the crew. I'll say weakest main member of the crew. We'll get into that later.
Right.
But yeah, I thought she was pretty forgettable, and you can tell why she's there. It's very obvious why she's there, like who she's there for and what
her purpose
for the narrative is. And, it just, as someone that loves all of the character moments of Dawn of the Dead, I felt that was a little lacking just on her part, but otherwise, I'd say all the other characters of the crew were exceptional.
Right, we also get, Mikey and Chambers. They're kind of the hot-headed social media stars. They're a little self-absorbed, especially Mikey.
Yeah, but Chambers, though, I would say, has a lot more situational awareness.
Yeah, she does. But she also is kind of a hothead, too, so...
She's definitely hot. Give her that.
And then we also have Marianne. She's the pilot.
At least, unlike Amber Heard, Zach actually had the courtesy to, hey, fucking Chris D'Elia, get the fuck out of my movie.
Right, apparently he was they filmed his scenes, but then they cut him out and they digitally inserted the actress who played Marianne, the pilot.
Yeah, and I mean, there was something just off about her face, but I'd say she's planted in there well.
Yeah, I mean,
she's believable. You believe that she's interacting with these people.
Yeah, I would say it's done well. So,
and I mean, I really do like her character. She's very quirky. She's just very charming, very, just chillax.
Yeah, it goes with whatever.
Goes with the flow.
Goes with the flow.
Obviously, just doesn't really mind dying. It's very much like, if it happens, it happens.
Right. It's way of life.
But one of my favorite characters of the movie, though, was Coyote. She's this really mysterious, blonde badass woman, and
she knows a lot about the zombies. She knows a lot about the Las Vegas in general. So
yeah, she's definitely the best asset they have in terms of surviving.
Pretty much, she was like kind of like the Vandero. She was cold blooded as well.
Definitely.
And then we have also Martin.
Last and least,
Martin.
Oh,
so he's the
ridiculous
head of the security for the guy who owns the casino. So he's basically kind of thrown in with the crew, and it's so obvious he has his own agenda.
Yeah, and all of the characters just don't buy him at all. They're like, "What the flying fuck are you up to?"
Right. I mean, it's
it leads to some moments that are just like, come on.
Right. It's some of it was a little predictable, but that's kind of just really the weakest part. At least, thankfully, some of the other characters kind of pick it up.
I would say that the actor plays his character well as just a mustache twirling cliche cartoon villain, but man, at times it does kind of get hokey.
Right. It's
And the only reason I said Cruz was like the weakest member of the crew is because Martin obviously does not belong here. No one acknowledges him as a crew member. He is very much the bastard bitch.
Pretty much. He's the one everyone hates.
And
he's not really there's nothing really redeeming about him.
Yeah.
So.
And, I just kind of want to say this. We had to really kind of memorize the names of these characters, off of Google. They, obviously the ones like Scott, Kate, Gita, those stick. But, like Mikey,
Martin.
I think they name him once or twice. And,
Chambers and
Chambers also. Yeah, all these we had to really kind of try and memorize.
Put the name to the face and look up all the actors.
Yeah, and that's the thing, sometimes we only, memorized it so we could sound somewhat coherent for this review. Sometimes just the imagery of a character is all you need. Case in point, I think Dawn of the Dead, because I can't tell you one fucking character's name in that movie, but I know what all of them look like, and, there's the head of security with, the goatee, the dick. There's the badass black cop. There's the fucking blonde chick at the beginning. But all of them have the interactions to make you really gravitate towards them, even though, you're left not remembering their name, but I still feel like, just as a whole, ironically, those characters end up feeling more memorable.
More a lot about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They stick with you, I'd say, more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think kind of spends a lot of time on them.
Yeah, that's definitely the main focus of Dawn of the Dead, which, to its credit, Army of the Dead tries to do something different. But I think what works really well with the characters in Army of the Dead works very, very well. It's just, you could see where more could have been placed. With who.
Yeah. With who and where and
so
how to kind of further probably make it better than what we got. But
eventually they, finally make it to Las Vegas. And it's Schittsburg. It's absolute Schittsburg. And
it goes bad quick.
Yeah, besides Coyote, they very quickly learn that, these zombies are nothing like we know. They have very different instincts and behaviors than we've seen portrayed in zombie movies before. Besides maybe something like Land of the Dead.
Right. They have, of course, a leader that they all follow. So there's a pack. And there's also, a little similarity I noticed with I Am Legend. Even though it's maybe not a zombie movie per se. It's more, but it's still like a virus that turns them.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a king and queen. This movie also has a king and queen.
Yeah.
They follow, and they also hibernate. So,
Yeah, the thing is, what differentiates something like Army of the Dead from, say, I Am Legend, in terms of just the hierarchy system, there's zombies groups that behave very differently within the lower tier. You got some zombies that dry out, when clumped together, and then they're revived once it rains, which I actually thought was pretty fucking awesome. There's
a little touch.
There's obviously the fast zombies. There's the zombies that
are slow, and
the zombies that still kind of have, that code, just that hierarchy code to them. Reminded me a lot of something like something like Last of Us, Left 4 Dead, just with the special infected.
There's different types.
Dead Rising 2, obviously for the aesthetic, it takes place in Vegas, and just god damn, I love the aesthetic of Vegas and zombies. It's a silver platter premise, and it does the work for itself. Once we kind of see a little bit of how the trades and everything work between what the dead will allow into their kingdom, finally the movie just kind of has its goal and just understands hey, now we should spend a lot of time just progressing to this goal, to the task at hand. I wouldn't say the pace halts though. It's definitely just a streamlined sense of momentum.
Yeah, I don't feel like it ever really hits the brakes when it's
never.
Up, so
never. And just the pacing as a whole for this movie I thought was great. Dawn of the Dead is a much shorter film, but for me it feels longer than this. Just because, it's a slower burned film. But it's not even 2 hours long, and this movie is definitely almost 2.5 hours, and it didn't feel that long at all.
It really didn't.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous that the first half was going to be kind of really slow, but no, it gets going pretty quickly. So
yeah. Now I think would be a great time to talk about the cinematography. And saying a Zack Snyder film looks good is just borderline redundant at this point.
Right. I mean, he always does good shots in his movies.
Oh yeah, dude's a fucking master of his visionary craft. And a lot of people take issue with his slow-mo. That really is not a huge thing in this movie. There's definitely slow-mo sequences, but it's filmed in such a badass way that it doesn't take you out of anything. And the color palette of this movie, vibrant as fuck. People usually have an issue with his choice of color, and here you go. If your biggest takeaway from Man of Steel is that, you wish Superman's suit had more prominent blue and red, go watch Army of the Dead.
I mean, that's where he'll get his color.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Those colors.
Man, and just all of the action and the fucking violence. So good. So good. So satisfying. So entertaining. So cathartic.
It delivers on what you expect from a zombie film.
Oh yeah, it delivers on the gore in spades, and it is glorious. But kind of getting back to the plot now, shit just kind of keeps getting worse and worse for these characters. Eventually, it all culminates into this finale where it nails the desperation and just the last ditch effort of all these remaining characters, and whew. Definitely has an epic climax to it, I'll say. You really get the sense of urgency and just their desperation to survive. And it's all great shit. All great shit. I had a blast with this movie. What else can I say?
I don't regret seeing it. I definitely kind of knew what I was getting into, but I got what I was wanting. It's just a fun zombie action movie.
Mm-hmm. So, any final thoughts, Tierik, for this spoiler-free section?
I think it's a great, fun and entertaining movie. I think it engages you with some high stakes that come from the plot, and I think the action scenes are pretty flashy, but they're kind of like a really cool, look at me kind of style to it. But it fits with the tone of the movie, so.
Oh yeah.
So I think it works, and overall I had a good time with it.
I wouldn't say the script is just amazing, or the story itself is brilliant or deep or anything like that, but it didn't need to fucking be. It set out exactly what it did. Or it did exactly what it set out to do, however the fucking phrase goes. It's late. We've been trying to make this video for a while, and we're rusty as fuck, if you can't tell. But shit, this was just the most fun I have had in a movie theater since I can remember. It was a joy to see. I mean, I had a fucking huge smile for most of the goddamn movie. Like, as soon as the first gory ass thing you see, I just was like, oh, that's great. And that's the sadist in me, that's for sure. I'm a sucker for really good gore.
I mean, yeah, like, that's kind of what you go for, like, an R-rated zombie movie for. You want to see good gore.
Was this rated R, or was this like not rated?
I'm pretty sure it was rated R.
I would have assumed it's rated R. I didn't know.
I think Netflix movies have like the MPAA rating.
Just everything I could have asked for from this movie, it really did deliver in spades, I'd say. Even with my tiny little qualms about some of the characters and certain things that happen in the story, just the entire package as a whole is just a great, great product. And I'm hoping it makes awesome results at the box office, with this limited theatrical run it has. I mean, it's very unlikely that it'll, be a box office smash hit just with how limited of a screening it is, but come on, give the fuck you to Warner Brothers. They deserve it.
By going to see a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
But at least, they gave Snyder control, so.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like, just the proof is in the pudding. Just watch for yourself. Like, this guy knows how to fucking make a movie. Just let him make that movie.
Right? He wrote it, directed it, produced it, and handled photography, yeah.
And just, if you have a way to see it in theaters, I do highly recommend seeing it in theaters. Just give it the support, give it some of the love I feel like it deserves, because it is a joyous celebration. Just 2021, 2 fucking awesome Zack Snyder films. That's awesome for me. So I think we're ready to rate this thing. What about you?
I think so. I mean, I think overall it's definitely worthy of a watch.
So I know a lot of you probably aren't familiar with the old rating system, but I have definitely abandoned that shit. I hate the concept of rating it out of 10. Trying to, give it a numerical score. Pisses everyone off. You just can't win. That's the only thing people care about. So I decided to come up with a rating system that you cannot complain about without looking like a total bitch. Basically, it works like Michelin stars. A movie can earn stars, but earning 1 star is still like an accomplishment.
Right, it means it's worth 1 watch. Right.
Well, not like 1 watch. It's just, if I give a movie 1 star, that's me saying, I had a good time watching this movie. I think it's worth a watch, Just, not necessarily 1 watch and 1 watch only.
Okay, but at least go see it if you are looking for a good time.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure. And then, maybe like, if I decide that I feel like you should buy this brand new on Blu-ray as soon as it comes out after seeing it in theaters, it'll definitely get another star, and then just, it can keep earning stars up until that point, with a most of 5. But a 1 star is not a 1 out of 5. So, therefore, if you complain that your beloved movie didn't get enough stars or got too many stars, you're just a piss pants baby at that point.
So what would 3 stars kind of be? Was that just...
That's like a very, very, very good movie. That's a movie that I very much recommend. It's got great rewatch value. It's
worth multiple viewings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Showing your friends on a weekend.
Okay.
Just, being proud to own it.
Being proud to own it.
Being proud to own and enjoy it.
Kind of a must-have.
Right. And then try not to think, hey, this movie got 1 star and this movie got 1 star, but these are very different, quality movies. It's not the same score for them. It's just its own accomplishment on both ends.
Okay.
So a 1 star here is not applicable to a 1 star there. And obviously a 5-star movie is not me saying that this is a perfect film with nothing wrong to it. Objectively, there is nothing that could have been improved. No, it's just me saying that is a fucking exemplary movie that I'm likely owning on Steelbook.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, something you would at least consider a masterpiece.
Yeah. And, whereas a movie that I cannot recommend, I give a thumbs down. And a movie that I think is an actual abomination is gonna be a shit. Currently I have the system noted in my iPhone notes, so it's just a poop emoji, but, it's the same concept. There's 2 layers of hell for bad movies. There's the, don't recommend it, I think you should just skip it. And then there's the, dear God, bury this movie in a landfill with E.T.
Mm-hmm. I think that covers it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think that is honestly the fairest kind of rating system I could create without pissing anyone off. And I know that people are still going to see the 1 star and think it's 1 out of 5. That's not what it means. Not at all.
Mm-hmm. It's an entirely new rating system.
Entirely new rating system. Never seen it before. So you're just going to have to do the work yourself and, get past your mental bias when you see a numerical score or a star score.
The star score here does not mean
the
overall rating.
We are outside of high school. We don't have to look at things as a percentile. I'm not IGN. I'm not going to give everything a fucking 8 or a 7 or a 9 just to keep from making people pissed off. This is how it is now for me. If you don't like it, scram.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm going to give Army of the Dead 4 fucking stars, man. God damn, what a fucking awesome movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to buy this on fucking 4K for sure.
Damn, I didn't know you were going to go that high.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It would have gotten 5 stars had it had better characters, where it needed better characters and a better villain. But everything else, goddamn. Just what a goddamn great piece of media.
Definitely a fun time. And I'm probably going to watch it again when it comes out on Netflix, so I'll definitely be enjoying that. But I'm still glad I got to see it in theater. I think it's definitely worth a theater watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate that we don't really get to that, but especially the mid-release and COVID hasn't really helped. So, but I think my final score, I think I might give it 3 stars.
3 stars, so
Yeah.
4 stars and 3 stars. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, those of you not sticking around for spoiler discussion, bid you adieu. It's great having you here. As always, recommend watching my other shit. But, this is your final warning to get the fuck out of my video before we have this great movie spoiled for you. 3, 2, 1. So, one of my favorite jokes of the movie was, after the crew has been assembled and they're being debriefed as a whole for the first time on what their actual objective is, this one guy just straight up is like, oh, yeah, fuck that, I'm out of here.
Like, he ditched.
He just straight up dips, and I thought that was actually really fucking funny.
Because he never shows up again.
Yeah, not at all.
So.
And it had really good comedic timing to it, and just good joke. Really good joke.
Chambers' death was pretty much caused by Martin, and because she's kind of like onto him, and there's a part where like she kind of escapes like a certain death trap, but unfortunately she still ends up dying because she's like on the ground, like falls out of a window with zombies on top of her, and she still has the opportunity to scream out, Martin tried to get me killed. Do not trust him.
Yeah.
But she never did.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can obviously tell all the characters, like, don't trust him already. But, like, yeah, literally, she, like, is just right in front of, like, the whole crew, Martin included, you know, being kind of bombarded by zombies, and he just immediately is like, leave her, she's dead. And they really don't try and save her. I feel like, she could have been saved had they really tried. And B, obviously what Tarek said, she had, like, a moment where she's just looking at Mikey, and she literally just says, hey, go, it's okay. Right then, she should have been like, don't trust this man. He fucked me over.
Yeah.
He's gonna betray you, like, or something. Like, I literally was like, come on.
I know, I was waiting for it to, like, for her to shout it, but she never does, so...
Right.
It leads to something later in the film, which we'll talk about.
Yeah. When it's revealed that Cruz still has feelings for Scott, I just, you know, didn't care. Just didn't really care.
No, but...
She's very obviously set up to die just to kind of punch him in the dick even more.
Just make it sadder. We can have a shocking death because it's so quick, so... It
felt unearned. That's really all it is. It's kind of disappointing. But we've already discussed how Martin was ridiculous and cliche.
Yeah,
But,
you said earlier he was a mustache twirling villain cartoon.
yeah, thankfully he has the best death in the movie.
Yeah, so...
Like,
Definitely one of the best moments where it displays the gore. And it doesn't disappoint, but what does disappoint is kind of his character. Because before, he obviously later betrays Coyote, kind of just leaving her to be, like, stuck somewhere and get eaten. So he takes off. But before he takes off, he, like, pretty much explains his whole agenda just right to her, like a
goofy villain.
Like, it's
like, my boss will pay 20 times what's in this bag than what you guys will find in that safe. You can't stop me. Skedaddle.
It's so unnecessary for him to just
Yeah.
lay that out, with the of course, it's to tell the audience what his goals are, but still, it's the way it was done, it was stupid. It just felt like a James Bond villain that's talking too much instead of just shooting James Bond when he has him right there. So yeah,
but like I said, best death in the movie. If anyone deserved the death that he got, it was him.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man, that tiger fucked him up. Fucking just ragdolls him, makes him his fucking play toy. Love it.
It's bloody.
Love it. So, something else that it kind of irked me was that Kate wanders off from, like, the rest of the crew to find this character named Jita. I had mentioned her in the spoiler-free section, but I didn't talk about her at all for this reason. She is trapped in this city, and, you know, Kate is only there as part of the crew to find her. So she dips off from the crew to look for her. And just when they end up rescuing both Kate and Jita, shit continues to go down, so they have to escape with the helicopter. The helicopter fucking crashes, and we don't know what the fuck happens to Jita.
No, it's, like, never revealed what her fate is. Because, I mean, we know the pilot gets killed, and we know, obviously, Scott is bitten, so he's obviously going to turn. But those three characters are the only one that's shown after the crash. There's no mention or any image of her shown, so we have literally no idea. I'm assuming she died from the crash.
Yeah, you can make a heavy-ass implication that she's dead. If she would just somehow survive, bullshit. It didn't happen. There's no way. But like I said, like her fate is entirely still like out in the open, and I don't think that was the intention. I definitely think that was kind of an oversight.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. I just think maybe they were gonna probably bring her back, and supposedly there's gonna be a franchise out of this, but we'll see.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
That'd be cool. I could get down with that.
Right.
Jita is like the new queen.
The new queen, zombie queen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could work. But one problem I did kind of have with the movie was I wish we got a little more on-screen deaths with the characters. Some of them, like Ludwig, Coyote, Vanderho. My bad.
Vanderho?
Twice I've done that. Vanderho, a couple others there. Their deaths are off-screen. And I think you could have used a little more. Maybe one of them, it's okay for if that's off screen, but for the most part, they should have had a gory death.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little more forgiving of it because I don't think it happens too much. The only times I can really think of are for obviously what he said, Coyote and Ludwig. Sometimes it helps, to have your imagination kind of fill in the blanks for something like that. As long as you're still getting what you're paying for.
I mean, I think that would work more towards like a horror movie, but this isn't really that. This is where you go to like
see the gore. That's fair.
Gore, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
That's fine. I mean, I was fine with like one, but the others, I think we could have. You still want to see they're obviously characters you care about, but you want to see them kind of get messed up too, because it would actually be a little heartbreaking.
Oh well.
Add to it, but I mean,
Snyder fucked up this franchise.
Right. No,
he doesn't understand the character of his own IP.
No, but there's still quite a bit of gore, zombie gore, and people getting eaten. So if that's what you're looking for, you'll definitely get that.
Yep. So I think we've drawn this out long enough. It's good to have you back, buddy.
Absolutely.
We got big plans moving ahead. Got very, very big plans. Unfortunately, this is going to be the very last fresh from the theater review. It's just in this kind of car setting that, 55 of you are akin to. There's just other things that, I want to do. I feel like there's other kind of reviews we could be doing. And just the concept of seeing new movies and talking about it like this, I plan on, reincorporating as just kind of a new, revamped sort of thing. But as far as this car setup goes, unfortunately, this is going to be the last time we say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us on this fresh from the theater journey. It's been an honor.
Great way to end it.
Thank you so much. I just realized, first fucking fresh from the theater review we ever did
was directed by Zack Snyder. Now we're ending it with a Zack Snyder flick.
Sort of like poetry, it rhymes.